This is Dr. Charles Parker, and you're listening to Core Brain Journal. It's the place where I connect both fresh discoveries and interesting different perspectives from advanced mind science with the realities of real people and everyday life down on Main Street. Well, welcome, folks. Here we are, Dr. Charles Parker once again at Core Brain Journal, and we are very pleased to have a very interesting lady today who is going to talk to us about integrative nutrition. Her name is Pallavi Kumar, and she's out in San Francisco. Welcome, Pallavi.
Hi. Hello, Dr. Parker.
Glad you're here. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of an intro out, and then we'll talk to you about who you are as a person, and we'll go on down the road. So Pallavi Kumar, she's in San Francisco Bay Area. She's a health coach and founder of Health Redux. I want to ask you about that. She's a graduate degree in psychology from India, is a certified health coach from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York. She's currently completing a program to become a certified weight management specialist from American Fitness Professionals and Associates. So Pallavi believes in creating a strong foundation of health and nutrition early in childhood to avoid health issues later. Besides her signature monthly programs and seasonal detoxes, we need to hear about those detoxes, she co-creates a completely personalized, simple action plan for clients to reach their health goals within their unique body. You know, when you and I were talking before, it's always terrible to read this stuff because here's the deal. You and I were talking, and I thought you said something very, very interesting about personalization. So let's talk more about that in a minute. Before we get started, just tell us a few more personal notes, fill in the blanks a little bit, who you are as a person, and then we'll go ahead and get down to the business.
Okay. So I'm based in the Bay Area, and I have 2 kids and a husband. I'm from India originally. We've been here for the last 5 years now. This has been such a great journey, becoming a health coach, and the motivations and where it came from. We can talk about it a bit more later. I think I am very passionate about the work that I do, especially the work that involves kids and work that involves motivations, people's motivation to get healthier, to get fitter. I work on motivations a lot. I personally believe that it's more about motivations when you have to get healthier than your efforts to get healthier. I think it is deeper than that. It's deeper than your efforts. So
you're really talking about the psychology of it. You can't get started if you don't really have it down in your bones in the first place.
Absolutely. And I come from India, and we weren't, I personally grew up not being physically fit. I wasn't running, I wasn't playing sports, I wasn't doing any kind of exercise. I was always in music. So that was my strong point.
Oh, stop there. What music were you in?
We used to play Western classical in school.
What specific, what instrument?
I used to play the piano.
Oh, you did? Fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. I grew up doing that, nothing related to health and food and nutrition. My motivations came much later in life.
Well, let me ask you also what town in India you were from, because it's so much fun to talk to somebody. And you've only been over here for 5 years, and your language is so good. It's like you've been over here for 25. So what town were you from over there?
I'm from New Delhi.
Oh, really? Wonderful.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I think it's fun to get an idea of who this person is. So then you were talking about your coming over, and you really started thinking about things and became interested in the process.
Yeah, it started like it does for most people. You grow up and you want to lose weight and you want to be skinny and you want to look good in the clothes that you wear. And I think becoming a health coach came much later. And the motivations came from being I think sick for a while and being physically unfit, and my kids falling sick more often. I think the idea of becoming healthy came then. Before that, it was all, just to lose weight and get skinny and follow whatever diet that you can and, just get your ideal weight and then go like a ping pong ball.
Well, it's so interesting to think that you had a nutritional problem in India, because we stereotype Indian diets as being so healthy, so nutritional, so vegetarian. And even from India, you were having a problem, and you really weren't eating correctly, is what you're saying.
I think I was eating fantastically. The problem was, like any other 18 to 21, 22-year-old, I wanted to lose weight. Even when I was at my ideal weight, I wanted to look skinny and skinny and skinny. So, yeah, it was just the obsession of, being the size 0, like we call it today. And, I think more than size 0, I was trying to get to -2 and -4.
Yeah, that is an affliction right in that range. It actually starts over here, as you know, about 12 and can run for a lifetime.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And also the society, I feel, you meet a lot of people and a lot of people influence you in life. And I remember once somebody just casually mentioning, oh, you need to lose weight. And I was at my ideal weight at that time. And it became an obsession. I wanted to lose weight. And it went on for a long, long time before I really realized what I was doing to my body and myself. And, there were nutritional deficiencies, and my body had become weaker. And I realized that I was burning more muscle than I was burning fat, because there was no fat to lose at that time.
So what was that moment where you had a painful awareness that I have to do something different? What transformed you and took you down this other path?
I had a spinal injury when I was about 27. And it was a really small, minor injury at home while working. And I was getting up and I hurt my spine against the edge of a table. I was working really hard. I was in marketing and sales job. I was traveling a lot, and I did not realize what that injury did to me. I was practicing yoga at that time with a personal trainer, personal yoga trainer. And I went on practicing, and I was traveling, and I was practicing, I was traveling. And I remember my husband and I went on a vacation, and I was straight on a bed and I couldn't get up.
Oh.
So I had to be flown back straight.
Terrible.
Yes.
So what was the actual problem? Did you actually fracture a vertebra or what?
I did not fracture anything. It was disc herniation at 2 points.
Oh, I see.
They were pressing against the thecal sac. So I was also limping. So my back had spasmed and I was limping.
Yeah. So and just to clarify, because you said thecal sac, it was actually pressing right on your spinal cord.
Yes.
Yeah. So people didn't know that. Why did I clarify it real quickly? But so they got you back, and then what happened?
Months of physiotherapy. I had my daughter. Life went on, and I started gaining weight, and I never lost that weight because the general perception was I shouldn't be running, I shouldn't be exercising. The doctors told me to strengthen my back. I didn't know how to do it. And I went on gaining weight and then dieting my way back to losing weight. Following some plans, dietitians, etc. But it was all a diet. I didn't understand how I had to strengthen my body. I had to strengthen my back. I had to strengthen my muscles, my core, and clean my diet, get rid of the vitamin deficiencies that I had. I didn't understand any of that. It happened when I moved to US and 5 years ago, and my weight went on oscillating. I gained weight and I lost weight, and I gained weight and I lost weight. And at that time, I realized that I needed to do something about myself. But as luck would have it, I fractured my toe.
Oh my gosh.
And they said it's a permanent injury and I couldn't do anything about it. So I just sat on the couch eating more M&Ms.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine you. Now, the people who are our audience are listening to us, but I'm looking at you through Skype, and I can't imagine you even being that way under any circumstances because, listeners, she's got a great attitude, great smile. She looks terrific. But what happens is you were rode hard and put up wet. You were not doing the right thing for yourself.
I didn't understand the importance. I wish I did. I just thought I could diet myself to become skinny every time I wanted. And I would eat M&Ms for 5 days and then not eat M&Ms for the next 1 month and I'd be fine. That's how I considered food.
So what was the conversion? Where did you have the epiphany, the aha moment when you said, I can't do this anymore. I mean, this is just terrible.
I had a really good doctor for my foot in here in Palo Alto, and he said, anybody who says you can't exercise is basically trying to get more money out of you for physical therapy. He worked with athletes, and he said you can run. So he offloaded my toe, and I started working out. I started running, hired a personal trainer, and started getting stronger and healthier. And I think it's a journey from there, because once you start working on your body, you don't feel like putting the gunk back in it.
Yeah. So you had some pain,
Yes.
and you knew after the spinal cord, the herniated discs and a fracture, that you had some medical problems that were downstream, and you were lucky in a way to have them as a young person.
Absolutely.
Because you're not 95 having these problems. You're a young person. I won't ask you how old you are, but you look young to me, and you're having all these bone problems and breaking. And did you measure now? Something I'm curious about, because we do a lot of measuring in our office. But did you measure vitamin deficiencies? Did you measure your vitamin D? Did you? So
I was highly deficient. My numbers were 3 at some point, 3 and 4.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
and 30 is considered by LabCorp to be low.
And no
so
matter
she was
how
3 and
many-
4. She was a walking fragile bone.
Yes, and I did yoga, and I had hypermobile joints. So I was very flexible. So my yoga teacher would always say, you're hypermobile. She would say, you're very, very flexible, and, you can do this and that. And what I didn't understand at that time was I was breaking my bones because I was flexing too much.
Really?
Yeah.
Now tell me about that. I didn't know about the flexibility thing associated with malnutrition. What was happening? Were your bones bending? Is that what you're saying, or what was it?
So I have hypermobile joints, so I don't realize how much I have bent my bones. How much I stretch myself, and I would, flex to the point of breaking a bone. That's how I fractured my toe.
So the joint action was really ligaments and,
Yes.
and tendons, but
Yes.
they somehow developed a hypermobility based on your relative malnutrition.
I don't know if it was nutrition based. I believe I was maybe born with hypermobile joints,
Okay.
because I've been doing yoga for a really long time, not as I just did it because I did it. I didn't do it because of the health benefits. At some point the doctor told me not to do yoga because I had hypermobile joints. So, that's because, and that's why I fractured my toe. So, to get healthier and stronger, I started running on the road, not on a treadmill, because again, it was told that it would impact my back. So I started running outside and hired a personal trainer to strengthen my core and my back.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
then you were taking care of yourself. What happened that you then transformed this into a program? Where did you get the larger picture where you wanted to do something to make a larger contribution? What was that all about?
There were 2 reasons. I think one, I was tired of my oscillating weight. And also my daughter had severe allergies, not food allergies, but she had seasonal allergies. She was on oral steroids and nasal steroids and nebulizers. And I was tired of giving these to her, and I knew that something had to change for our family. My husband had asthma. We all had, like a typical Indian body. We weren't looking fit. So something had to change somewhere, and I started as a contributing member for a fitness group sometime back. It was a women's fitness group. It was just a contributing member. I would research things and post online. And then I realized that I wanted to study further and read deeper and understand what it takes for a body to heal by itself, not with external forces, because a doctor would tell me to run, but what would it take for my body to nourish itself so it doesn't fall sick that often, so it doesn't, I think it's just, look better and feel more energetic. As I got into that group, I really wanted to feel healthier and get my body nourished and my family's body nourished.
So then out of that, you developed a program.
So I studied at Integrative Nutrition, the School of Integrative Nutrition, and I got my certification and I started practicing.
Well, now take a moment and tell our audience what integrative nutrition is. I mean, in a way, we intuitively know what it is, but let's stretch it out a little bit and really get our nose right into it.
So integrative nutrition is like holistic health. it takes a lot of factors into consideration before designing a program for you. So it takes into account your emotional health, your physical health, spiritual health, mental health. Four things combined would make the person and the person that you are, and that would how you feel depends on that. So if I am, if I need a cup of coffee at 4 p.m., why do I need that cup of coffee at 4 p.m.? Why can my body not nourish itself? What are the healthier options to do that? How can I deal with my stress in a better way so I don't need that coffee at 4 p.m.? What can I replace it with so my body nourishes instead of, having coffee? So, it's your stress and your emotional level and your happiness and, so many things around you that shape the person that you are.
Now, does your group advocate measurement as a beginning to the program? I mean, yes, the ordinary LabCorp things like vitamin D and B12 are pretty easy, but do you think it's important to dive right in and get good measurements so you know where you're starting? Is that your opinion?
We always tell people, I always tell my clients who come to me, do not leave their doctors or the medications. That's my first step. I will never tell anybody to leave their medications. Continue doing what you're doing. Your doctor knows best. I can work with your doctor and work on a diet and lifestyle changes for you so you get healthier. And, these changes are a no-brainer sometimes. You have to get off sugar. You have to get off, you have to figure out what foods you're allergic to, foods that are not working for your body, or you're not exercising. So what a health coach does is I become your partner and I take you through that process one step at a time. So I won't tell you leave sugar, gluten, dairy, XYZ at the same time. We will work on one part first, make sure you're comfortable with, how you're living your life with that one change that you've made, and then go on to another change. So it's almost like somebody's hand holding you and walking you through the process.
So that sounds very interesting, but let me ask you this, because, in my experience, in my practice, you have an idea, you get some training, you go someplace, and you then start to apply it. What was the disappointments you began to experience? Where did you have some additional awakening? So you had your own personal awakening process, but where, when you began to apply integrative nutrition, did you have some additional wake-up calls that took you more deeply into your practice?
I believe I've had maybe one or two such clients, and when you talk to them, you realize that some people are happier being in that stress zone. And, it's like their comfort zone, right? You try to bring them out of their comfort zone and they become really unhappy with it. And, it just shakes up their world. So it's not easy to work with such clients, and you do realize that stress is at the base, the bottom of their problems. So their weight is not the problem, their health is not the problem. It's the stress that is not helping them make that change. So I think stress is one thing I am extremely passionate about working. And a lot of clients would just go back saying, oh no, stress is not really the problem, my weight is the problem. And they don't understand it. It's just walking them step by step through the process of making them realize how stress is ruining and stopping them from being their 100%. I think that's a really challenging and interesting thing that I realized when I started practicing. I didn't think it would be that important.
Well, do you have any tricks up your sleeve? Because we see this all the time. Do you have any tricks up your sleeve for actually convincing somebody that the stress is the issue and that their attitude is the issue to transform them into actively participating with you?
Yes. So I was talking to another health coach the other day, and, we thought about this for dealing with such clients. They said, when clients hear themselves, when they're talking to you, they don't hear themselves. When they write something down, they hear themselves better. So I made a little questionnaire for them where, you could answer certain questions. Why do I want to get healthier? If I were to get healthier, how would I feel? If I were to get healthier, what were the 3 things that were stopping me? Okay, I'm healthy now. What were the 3 things that stopped me from getting healthier a year back? So when they hear themselves, they see their own roadblocks. And I think they understand themselves better. So I think
So
they can hear their motivations
they
better.
write it down. It actually becomes sort of a goal. This
Yes.
is real. It's outside of me. I can see this is an organization. It begins to actually have a certain cognitive shape to it.
Right.
And by being external to themselves, they can actually see the reality of what they have to do.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, now tell us, we have a download coming from you, and it's going to be corebrainjournal.com. 014 is our program here, but it's going to be 014 download. And they do the 014 download after corebrainjournal.com, and your PDF will come to them. Let's tell them a little bit about what's on your PDF that they might find interesting.
The clean sheet, the clean sheet that I sent you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting download that you can do from the website also, and it's available to you. There are lots of toxins around us in the house. Besides the food that you eat. So I think it's just the cleaning out of all the toxins around you is an extremely important step. Now, this does not include the emotional toxins that you have, but yeah,
That's a whole nother matter.
That's another matter altogether. But yeah, just a cleaning of toxins around your house. That's the first step you can take about for cleaning yourself.
See, I think the cleaning, that's great because we see this all the time. I think in my practice, because we try to do much of what you're doing, we don't go into the depth that you have, but it's so valuable to start really thinking about how we're contaminating ourselves. In addition to the food that we take in. And we see people just change dramatically once you measure what the problem is, once you actually see it. But I think this is going to be an interesting download because the other activities, things that are going on in the house. Now, I haven't read it. Tiffany told me about it. But the issue is, do you talk about things like radiation and that sort of thing, or do you talk about solvents? What kind of toxins do you talk about? Let me ask you that question.
So when I work with my clients, I primarily work on the food toxins, really. But as you flip over your toothpaste, your shampoos, your conditioners, your household cleaning sprays, there are toxins in every little thing. They're carried in your toothpaste, So you avoid buying toxins for the food that you eat, and you go and buy organic food. But the toothpaste that you put in your mouth has toxins. And I hear a lot of my clients say, how much can you obsess? My point is, don't obsess. Do make the best choices that you can, but toxins are everywhere. So make the best choices that you can and avoid what you can. That's the best you can do.
Sounds fantastic. Now tell us a little bit about your book. You have a book that's going to be coming out. We're recording this in late March of 2016. But you have a book that's coming out, and when it comes out on Amazon, you're going to let me know, and we'll put it there on your page. It's called Silver Linings. And could you tell us, a little bit more about that?
Yes. So Silver Linings Storybook is a compilation of about 20 authors. This is about their journey through life and challenges. It could be a professional challenge or a personal challenge. My story in particular talks about my health issues with my back, my toe, and my weight issues, and of course my kids' health. It also talks about the career choices that I had made earlier in life. So I grew up in India, and at that time, creative fields were not really considered a career choice. So it was a great hobby to have. Everybody was really happy and proud that you were playing the piano, but I was asked repeatedly, okay, so what's your career goal, and what do you want to become when you grow up? And I said, I don't know. I thought music was what I wanted to do, and I think because of wanting to do the right thing, I stepped out of music, and I don't play music anymore. It's been 15 years that I touch the piano. How I changed my career from wanting to do music to writing. To just being on stage, modeling, wanting to model, not modeling, but wanting to model, to being in marketing and sales, to becoming a health coach now, how the progression happened and why that happened. And if given a choice, I don't know if I would, make the same career choices again.
In what respect? When you say that, what do you mean?
I left creative fields because they weren't considered a career choice. And so everybody said, okay, you're a bright girl and you're scoring great. So why do you want to consider music as a career? And,
So are you saying you're kind of missing it a little bit? You like what you're doing, but
Yes.
you are an artist nevertheless.
I think that is lost somewhere. I don't think I can get on the stage again and play music again, or perform again. I don't know if I can do that. I'll never say never. But I think I'm very, very. I think I'm extremely happy about the choices that I had made, because it shaped up the person that I was. Had I not left music, I wouldn't have taken up psychology. Had I not, gotten into mass communication and journalism at a postgraduate level, I wouldn't be a public speaker. Had I not, had my daughter not been sick, I wouldn't have studied nutrition. So I think every stage had something to offer for me to become the person that I was. But I talk about my journey, about how it had changed me and helped me make the person that I am today. So I think a lot was lost along the way. I think the person who could take a lot of risks and not be very fearless and just be out there. Even if I had the jitters while I was on stage, I would still go there and perform, because that's what I love doing. So I think the point of this book is that everybody has challenges. Everybody makes choices that they're not 100% happy with. As an adult, you have the choice to change your life and do something that you absolutely love and are absolutely passionate about, and something that you truly believe in. So don't go back and say, okay, my parents made the bad choice for me, or my boyfriend made made a bad choice, or my husband didn't let me do this. I don't think that's a good enough reason. As an adult, you have a choice, and you are responsible for your decisions, and do the right thing for yourself.
And you take it on down the line. We quite agree on that one. Now, before we go,
that's where stresses come from, right? I mean, I hear my clients all the time, and they're like, because I can't work because I had my kids, I'm very unhappy today. And I said, I had kids, I left my job, I had traveled with my husband, I love doing all that. But I lost a part of myself along the way, because I'm not the same person, but I am a better person. I believe I'm a better person today because I'm happier doing what I'm doing.
Well, just to reframe it, you lost some parts of yourself, and you found others.
Absolutely.
So you weren't just leaving things; you were finding things as well, and that's what change and maturation is all about. You were moving down the road, as we said a moment ago.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this question. We're going to wind up here pretty soon, but I wanted to just give our audience a window into the detox plans. You have some things that you do that are programs. Tell us a little bit about that before we wind up, and tell us how we can reach you if we're interested in pursuing some of the activities that you're talking about here.
So I am working with two kinds of clients right now. One is kids. I hold workshop for kids and also have some clients as families. So for kids, I want to teach them young. I want to teach them how to read the basics of label, how to make a better choice when they see a box of Hershey's milk out there. Just flip over, read the label, and make a good choice for yourself. And the kids should be equipped with the knowledge to do that themselves. They shouldn't need an adult to tell them not to eat a packet of Pop-Tarts. So just teaching them why it's important, how to read the label, and leave the choice to them. So that's something I'm working on, and it seems to be working. I have heard from my clients that the kids have gone back and thrown away food in garbage because they said, she told us, because mom, this has red 40, so I can't eat this. So it's great if I can do this, this, I think my bit for the kids, and they make a better choice. They will grow up and become responsible adults.
So do you have a program that's available virtually? You're in San Francisco. You probably go to schools, I would imagine, but then do you have a virtual program as well?
I do talk to my clients on Skype. I hold Skype sessions like I would hold a one-on-one session for my clients here. Mm-hmm. And I talk to kids during my workshops. I don't talk to kids on Skype. I would talk to parents on Skype. Mm-hmm. So I talk to families, because most of the times it is the availability of healthy food for kids. So I talk to parents about healthier options. Sometimes the parents say, okay, we want to feed our kids healthy food. Now, what do we feed them? So just talking to them about clearing out the gunk and, how it's important to just throw away the junk from their house so they have healthier options. So kids is one program that I'm working on. I hold workshops, and I also talk to parents on Skype. The second I work on is with women. And as women, I believe we put ourselves second, our families come first. And it's very important for women to realize that unless they take care of themselves, they can't take care of their families. And that's a fact. If you're not feeling good, if you're not healthy, if you're not exercising, you can't do the best for your kids and your family. So I talk to women about making healthier choices, just going out there for a walk if you can, just making small lifestyle changes, and also deal with their stress levels, and their spirituality and their career decisions, and just, I think, women's health in totality.
Thank you so much. That was a great point. I think that's true. We see it happen. I'm doing traditional psychiatry, and we see it in our offices all the time, because I think the women, generally speaking, are an underserved population. I mean, they're out there taking care of everybody. They're taking care of the guys, the family, and frequently they don't take care of themselves. And so giving them permission and a specific structure for taking care of themselves is really an important next step.
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way. I had a client who said, I don't know why, but I said, I want to have a dessert every night at 9 p.m. And I said, are your kids in bed? And she said, yes. I said, as kids, I think when we were small and our parents gave us candies and sweets as a reward. Think of it this way, you're a grown-up person now and you want to reward yourself once your kids go down to sleep and you feel you've earned that. You earned that dessert. So, it goes back. It's just, what we link our happiness with. And for me, happiness is a brownie. So it is a brownie, right? When my kids are in bed, I'll grab a brownie. So I say, be aware of why you're making those choices and you'll make a better choice.
So true, so true. Well, listen.
When do you say you've earned an apple? Nobody says I've earned an apple, right?
Yeah, well, if they're thinking the way you're thinking, they do, because that is the place to go. Have that little apple and call that a treat.
Right.
So thanks so much, Pallavi. Let's leave with the note of what your website is and where people can reach you if they want to talk to you further.
My website is www.healthredux.com, HEALTHREDUX, healthredux.com. And I can be reached at Pallavi, my first name, PALLAVI, at healthredux.com.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Do you have any final closing remarks for something you want to say? Hey, guys, this is the one thing you need to think about as I move on down the road.
I always say to everybody I meet, and be kind on yourself, be easy on yourself, and one step at a time. We're not trying to be perfect. Just take that first step. So true.
So true. Thank you so much, Pallavi. And we'll look forward to talking to you again down the road. Really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to Core Brain Journal. We're working every day behind the scenes to bring you reports that connect research benches with those street trenches. Here we share the complexity of mind science because, as you know, details really do matter. One of the most pervasive, misunderstood challenges is how commonplace medications, like those written for ADHD, are used so regularly without clear guidelines. If you think you'd like more specifics, take a minute to download my 2-page PDF packed with video links and references on the absolute essentials of how to start ADHD medications. They're easily available at corebrainjournal.com/start. Thanks for listening. Do connect and stay tuned. Together we can make a difference.